Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm a little late. Was having a cocktail with our friend Karen. So, yeah, a couple minutes we got to jabbing about, sorry, not jabbing, gabbing about everything that's been going on this week. Give it a couple seconds. This week has been personally a little crazy. There's a lot going on. But we are going to talk about tonight. It's going to be so much fun. Is my personal issues. We're going to go a little off topic than regular, but we're going to do some follow up to Karen's coffee video that she did yesterday, which I thought she did fabulous. Put some context to In Loco Parentis, which I find very, very disturbing. And I think every parent should find that language very disturbing when a superintendent of your school district is using that as a means to not speak with a parent regarding their child. So let's start at the beginning though. Tonight, real quick, I'm having Tito's vodka. It's been one of those weeks, and cherry Sprite. I usually do cherry 7 Up, but you know, I only had Sprite. Cherry 7 Up is kind of hard to find. So my husband got me Sprite, which is fine. I have a nice little fire, as you guys can see, going on and relaxing. Um, so let's start. Last Thursday, my daughter, and I'm not condoning, I'm going to start this because this is the comment I've got from a lot of people. I don't condone bad behavior. If the school feels like they need to punish my kids, I just want to be involved. I don't like the practice of interrogation that has been happening at every school across Ohio. And I'm my kid's advocate. I don't think it's appropriate for the school to call someone's child down without thinking that they need to inform me as the sole authority and guardian of the child what's going on. Especially when they're investigating, like they like to say, investigating the kid crimes. I'm like, I did say to the vice principal, though, I have to tell you this one. I said to him, I'm like, did you think you were ever going to be 40 some odd years old and investigating kids crimes? You know, I would never grow up to think I'd be a kitty investigator at 40 some odd years old and playing a I can't say what I want to say. Anyways, so we're going back to last Thursday. My daughter was in a little altercation with two of her friends over a boy. Usually that's how it goes. And they're in 6th grade. Somebody's boyfriend is now dating somebody else. So she sent them a text message. The text message, I'm going to say it because I'm not really ashamed about it, but she should be. She said, me and somebody's name, we're going to jump you, but I stopped somebody's name. That makes me a bad person. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, that makes me a bad person. And then sent one more text message, and there was like just a response to something, and I don't really remember what it was. And that was the end of it. Um, she told me later that night because, of course, 6th grade girls, they start getting on the phone, texting back and forth, big drama. Izzy came up to me, actually. It was kind of funny. Elizabeth is very, very sensitive. She really doesn't like when she gets in trouble. She gets really emotional. So she came up to me when I was on the phone and said, I think I'm going to be in trouble with the police because of this message I sent. And she showed me the message, which I disciplined my daughter for. She did not have a phone for a little while and was grounded. She showed me the message and I had to giggle like, no, sweetheart, you didn't threaten anybody. So therefore you can't really get in trouble with the police. Um, she's just Izzy. She's so funny. Um, she was so upset too. She's like, okay. And she was all worried and anxious. I'm just like, you need to apologize because that was not appropriate, which she did. She sent that night, with that a couple minutes later, an apology. I did not mean what I said. I'll mind my own business. You know what I mean? You're right, but I'm sorry for saying what I said. Okay, move on to the school. How does this fit into school? You're probably like, come on, let's go. This fits into school because the next morning I had a meeting regarding it for my son. That's a whole nother Katie cocktail with Katie episode. Um, People that don't know me, my son's autistic. He's disabled. But I was in a meeting regarding uh, absenteeism, even though he did not qualify for that meeting and they didn't follow their policies, but whatever. So at the beginning of that meeting, though, they brought up Izzy. And I have a history with the school. Over the last 2 years, I've been an advocate against all the COVID measures, and I've been the person at the board meeting speaking. And I actually hold them accountable to follow their own policies and their own procedures. And I've been on the phone back and forth with the old superintendent, probably on a monthly basis, just because of something that happened with some kind of retaliatory actions towards me or one of my kids, because I am an advocate parent. So those of you that say it's not happening in schools, it's happening. Um, I can take it. I'm okay with people not liking me and bullying me, but a lot of people back off because those practices are done. I'm not. I never will. Just not in my nature. But so in the beginning of that meeting, I was asked about Elizabeth and the situation. I told them that happened through text message. Um, when she sent it, it was 3 minutes before she got off the bus. So they're using that as a reason, but the text continued, the exchange continued when she got off the bus, but they are using that as an excuse of why they need to be involved. And I'm like, well, if you didn't see the text message, how would you need to be questioning her? They're like, well, we're going to investigate. And I said, well, you're not to question, interrogate my daughter without me being there, my consent, and you don't have the consent to question her. So if you want to move forward, then you move forward, how you see fit, but don't question her without calling me and dad and us being present. Their principal of the middle school responded, we're gonna investigate and we're gonna talk to Izzy. And I said, no, you're not. At that point, I'm getting a little upset, but at not one point during this conversation, I'm loud, as probably many of you can hear, but at not one point in this conversation did my voice get raised until the police officer, yeah, it's another thing, that was in the room, decided to tell me to be quiet and yell at me when I was speaking, which I didn't appreciate. And I don't know why a police officer was in a room for an absent meeting. So it was a little intimidating walking in that room, 4 people, But I told her that, and she's just like, well, I said, if you question her, and proceed with this, you'll hear from our attorneys later, because, I've requested you not to speak to her. We had this problem last year, worked it out with the superintendent. You're not allowed to question kids without their parent. If they've requested that from you, no, you need to call and let me know my child's in trouble. Not going to disagree that they can't get punished, but you need to call and we need to have a conversation about what happened, not just you handling it between little kids. That's not appropriate. So we went on to the AST meeting, and that went however way it went, because they weren't following their own policies, and I questioned them on that, and they get upset, and it's just a reason to come at me. Any reason to come at me, that will openly take it. Whatever. I'm willing to fight that fight. During that meeting, I did bring up, I will go talk to the superintendent about you questioning my minor child, and you telling me pretty much go to what, and that you're going to do it anyways. Then I called the superintendent's office. They said he wasn't available now. I said, well, I need to talk to him regarding this incident. I probably would have sounded a little upset, because I'm just the audacity of what was just said to me. And they said, okay, will he be available around 11:30? I said, okay, great, thanks. I'll be up there at 11:30. I get a call back about 10 minutes later with a cancellation. I'm like, why are you canceling on me? You know what I mean? And the superintendent's response to her secretary was, because I don't let anyone talk. What? So I followed that up with an email, how it goes, put in writing. Next day, I get a wonderful letter, which I'll post below, from our new local superintendent, Dr. Heil, which is horribly inappropriate. And then a investigation, which I know this is all crumpled children, it goes, was, and this is a form, it says notice of intended in-school restriction. So Elizabeth on 11/11/22 was called down to the office. The vice principal writes, evidence would suggest that Elizabeth sent inappropriate messages to another student despite being told to stop this. Is this a violation of the school rule 2B harassment? There is no 2B rule. It says to hold yourself accountable for your own actions, which Izzy actually did the night before. And I handled it at home. She didn't speak when they called her down. They didn't call me, they didn't let me know, but she was instructed to not answer any questions, and they proceeded with an investigation, which we have no evidence of what they have, what they heard, what they saw. They didn't feel it was appropriate to then call me and dad in for a official meeting, maybe even with the other parent, to figure out what's going on between these two girls. She didn't get like a warning before, and the charge of harassment alone, it has to happen more than one time. It has to be consistent. And I also asked them, if you guys are handling this at school, what happened at the school that constitutes you guys getting involved? And they told me that it was because of it caused a disturbance. And I said, what disturbance? A disturbance. Not only that, they didn't give me, I had to ask for this, notice of intended in-school restriction. It was a notice of intended, right? Oh, no. They put Elizabeth in school suspension that day. Told me, when I followed up the last couple days, that I have no rights to appeal this decision. I have no rights to a meeting with any administrator. And the superintendent told my husband at the board meeting when I addressed this, because I also the same day when it happened, 11/10, wrote all the board members, the superintendent, asking to get help addressing my grievances. Do you think one board member did respond? He did. And honestly, I wish I could pull up my email right now, but I'll tag it below. He's worried about the stakeholders of the community. The board really doesn't address those kind of issues. That would be, Mr. Heil's been so nice to him. So why would he not, make a meeting with me? To this day, I have not heard from Mr. Heil's office, besides the letter he sent me that if I don't respect them enough, or, they don't feel my behavior is appropriate, which I will post the recording of the meeting, that, I can just, yeah. Yeah. So what do you do when no board member will address you and no superintendent? And when you do address the superintendent for a meeting, he uses In Loco Parentis, that he has physical custody of our kids, physical custody of our kids. Guardianship. A judge granted him guardianship of our children because I enrolled them in a public institution. What? No appeal process, no investigation with the parents involved. They didn't even explain to me what happened. They said there was a text message incident. I know what the incident was. My kids talked to me. They didn't explain it to me. They didn't call me and my husband in for a meeting. And then they just go and straight put my daughter into a room to sit there all day, judge, jury, judge and jury. No trial, no investigation, no evidence was given to us, and they violated their policy on harassment under Title IX. You wanted to say harassment, it falls under Title IX. So I've spent the last couple days, and I will put out all the emails back and forth and what my responses are going to be. I plan on moving forward with pushing them. Yeah, it means an adult. Okay, so Karen, thank you. She said section Q of the high-rise code. I don't know what the code is. Karen can maybe help me with that. In loco parentis means an adult who is the caretaker of a child, including a relative, foster parent, step-parent, who is in charge with the rights, duties, and responsibilities of a parent, and whose presence in the home is needed to perform these rights, duties, and responsibilities. So, Dr. Heil and Jekyll, apparently no judge has granted. I requested these documents from the school and see what they say back um, whenever they decide to get back to me. But yeah, I'm like honestly speechless. We are the sole authority of our children. Because I enroll them in a public school doesn't recuse or rescind my authority. I didn't agree when I enrolled my child in a public school that you now have sole authority of my child. No. And I'm just going to let you know my history, personal history. I was that kid. I was always in trouble in high school. Always. Always. So my parents told the school, you are not to talk to my daughter without my permission. And that's what it was. So no, we're going to fight this. We're going to fight it for you guys. We're going to fight it for every parent in the state of Ohio. The school does not have in loco parentis. The school does not have authority of your kids. Only you do. Only you. Until a judge writes them an order granting them ultimate authority. Ultimate authority, Karen, exactly. So if something happens between Becky and Susie at school, and you feel like it caused a disturbance, and the parent has told you that you need to contact me, that's who you contact, whether you like me or you don't. And I know they don't like me. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with not being liked. That's not my job. It's for the administration to like me or to show the administration respect. I am quiet, but I am abrasive. And when I know that you're not following your own policies, your own guidelines, and you're being retaliatory towards my children, oh, you haven't even seen the mama bear that is about to come out. And you have never seen me upset. Now I'm upset. This is ridiculous. And my trust is broken. My trust is completely broken. And I started this year, fresh start. Fresh start. As long as you don't try to put that mask on my kid, as long as you don't try to quarantine my children again, as long as you don't try to paint my husband as aggressive, angry, and hostile so you can kick him out of the school areas because you don't like him questioning you, I will leave you alone. And once again, this is what they do. So we'll see how the outcome of this goes. I don't think it's going to go well for Vermilion City Schools. I'm going to be reaching out to some media sources. In Loco Parentis, I have everything recorded. Parents, record. You're in a meeting, you hit that record button so quick, you put that phone on the table, you have every right to do so. Record, because I record every meeting with them now, because I don't want them to be able to say and be able to say with certainty what Dr. Heil said to me. I'm going to read it and then we're going to end this here. This is where we're going to end it. I have reports from 4 people, and I'm not going to say the people's names, all describing that you were disruptive, overbearing, rude, and disrespectful. And the issue you repeatedly raised had nothing to do with the purpose of the meeting. They raised an issue that had nothing to do with the meeting. They should have waited till after that meeting to discuss my daughter, and at that time we would have discussed it. And because I defend myself with their own policies and I question their motives, and that absence officer was so rude to me last year, and I have that recorded as well, and aggressive, and honestly just it's flabbergasting, because this company that wants you to make this plan, sign this contract with them, isn't even part of the school. Nope. 90% of their income comes from the school. So why am I having to sign a contract with a third party regarding where my child is? I called. Just because the school marked it unexcused doesn't mean it was unexcused. They've marked every absence unexcused, even my disabled sons. So yeah, but it's not retaliatory. Stay focused, Ohio. We're going to fight for you. We're going to fight for us, and we're going to take back the schools. Love you guys. See you soon.